Morning. Today, I'm going to show you a little bit about what I do every day. Every time I leave the house, my dogs say goodbye, as you just heard. And my tool of trade, the machete. Today you will see what cutting grass in Costa Rica is like, Tico style. Without using gloves, your hands wind up looking like this and the other. So lots of calluses, blisters, but today I'm going to be using gloves.
Won't succumb to its hunger, survive I will, I thrive on thrill, one more chance to surface, fight for the light in the seams, one last chance to surface, fight for these dreams, I might not make it, but try I will, these depths are hunted yet I have not been killed, it's pure alchemy, it's pure alchemy, it's pure alchemy, pure alchemy. Pure alchemy.
Okay, so that was one little section. Did from about my border of my property up until the end of my restaurant here. And I have a little section left. I did a big part the past couple days, but I wanted to give you an example. I typically work and cover a space about 1,000 square meters per day. My entire property is 10,000 square meters. So over a course of 2 weeks, I can get everything done from when it's high like this. And then typically, I'll either try to keep it short with the machete or have a weed whacker and some friends come in and help me. And we finish the whole property in about a day or two when it's shorter. When it's long like this in rainy season, it's difficult to do with the weed whacker, so I go through with the machete, typically myself. Sometimes I have help from other guys, but as I've learned, they have a different work pace and schedule here. They're hard workers, but they work differently. This is not the norm, but for example, my next door neighbor, in the 2.5 years I've been here, has probably done no more than 3 weeks of work since I've known him. I can hear what he's doing, I can see what he's doing. He's very, very, very lazy, and he's poor because of that. His whole family struggles because of him not wanting to work hard, and he's fat and he's unhealthy. But normal guys will work maybe 3 or 4 hours a day hard. They take a lot of breaks because it's hot, as you can see. So I gauge my work by when I have a shirt on, when it's completely covered in sweat, I stop, because that means I've lost enough water and I need to go replenish, take a shower, relax for a bit. Typically have a coffee or two, but usually I drink about a quart of water to replace what I've lost. As you can see, my shirt started out dry when I put it on and now it's completely drenched. So just to reference, 1,000 square meters is probably between 2,000 and 3,000 square feet. So think about how big your house is. An average, 2-3 bedroom house is about 2,000 square feet. So that's what I'm doing every day with the machete. I just heard something, maybe it's a snake or a lizard. But yeah, rainy season, the grass gets that high in a matter of weeks. Usually in less than a month, it goes from being cut by the ground to that height there. So usually I try to do a big section of my property, like 1/3 of my property every week. So every month it's under control, and it gets to about, that short, that's maybe 4 to 6 inches. And when this dries up tomorrow or this afternoon with the sun beating on it, I'll come through again and chop down all the, let me show you, kind of the roots. So I'll chop that down to the ground, and it usually prevents it from growing really high again, but at least, growing for a while, because when the sun beats on it, it dries it out and kind of kills the roots, which is nice because then it stops growing back as frequently. But yeah, and you always have to be cautious. Like this is I don't know if you can see it. This is a carambola, a star fruit that I planted earlier this year, about 6 months ago. And when you're in the zone chopping with a machete, sometimes you can hack off some things that you want to plant. For example, I had a plantain growing here at the front of my property, platano, and I hacked it off accidentally. But what happens with plantains, which is nice, is that will actually grow a new one. Can you see that? So a new one in about a week will come poking through the middle of that. And what's interesting, what I've learned, when you cut them shorter like that, as long as they don't die, they'll actually start fruiting quicker. So it's a technique for anybody growing bananas or plantains. If you're smart about it, you can cut them short like that, and when it gets about waist height, it'll start fruiting rather than 8 feet high, which typically you just plant one and it grows about 8 feet high, and then it will pop out the little red kind of bud thing, and then it'll start dropping fruits. You can see these guys I haven't touched, and they're about 8-9 feet tall now, and they're still not fruiting. That one will probably start fruiting much quicker and much lower, which is nice because they're low-hanging fruits and they're easier to get. So anyway, a day in the life of cutting the grass with a machete here from the Jungle Temple. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the section below, and I appreciate you subscribing, liking, and sharing with anybody that might be living in the tropics, Central America, South America, or I guess the southern zones, the tropical zones of the United States. So, that said, I'm gonna go take a shower, sharpen my machete, and until next time, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Who would have thought my life would be this? 25 years ago, I was sharpening knives in a butcher shop for my father. 25 years later, I'm in Costa Rica, on my fruit farm, sharpening machetes, or should I say swords? They're essentially swords. Remembering all my past life skills. Alright, I usually sharpen a little before, a little after. Show you an example. Oh, not bad today. Usually my sweat is dripping out of the boots. Not bad. Awesome. Not a bad day. Alright. Shower time. See you guys later. Okay, the last and most important part. Hydrate. Drink your water. What a great feeling. Fresh spring water, by the way. That I have a spring on my property. Gracias a Dios, as they say here. Thanks to God. It's got a slight sweetness to it because all the fruit that grows around here historically and now. Oh yeah, but super refreshing. So over the next, I'd say 30 minutes, I'll finish this, probably sooner. And then I usually drink about 4 of these a day, at least. And then some coconut water as well, and fresh fruits, which all have, good electrolytes and water, juice in them as well. Half now, half in a little bit. Amazing.
And on to breakfast number 2. This morning I had some plantains. I made a couple patacones, which is a double fried plantain, and I used the black bean dip on top of it. It's a refried black bean dip. I'll actually show you. This is the brand, La Chula. If you want to sponsor me, appreciate you. And then I do a secret sauce mix, the magic sauce, a combination of ketchup and mayo, all 3 on top with a little bit of salt. Fantastic little starter breakfast for energy. I drink about a pot of coffee, get out and do work, and then now I'll make rice and eggs. I do a little mixture, and then that gets my protein up and my nutrients back. So, Pura Vida, the Costa Rican way. Love you. Come visit, help me out.